Known for its peculiar art and mysterious lights, Marfa, Texas is located in southern West Texas, just a skip and a jump away from the Mexican border, and is home to nearly 2,000 residents. The Marfa Lights phenomenon dates back as late as the 1960s. Why have we not found an explanation to describe what these lights are? Is it ghosts, UFOs, car lights, or natural gases? Truth is, scientists and investigators have been scratching their heads to this day, unable to find any explanation for these hovering balls of light. The publicity of the town is immense compared to its size, with many films documented over the lights, such as an episode aired on Unsolved Mysteries. Tourists and famous celebrities flock from all over the country and even globally to come experience the culture of Marfa and hope to catch a glimpse of the Marfa Lights. Leaving before sunrise, we set out for a 5-hour drive down south to Marfa to document the mass appeal of this small town. Our first stop was the Marfa Lights Viewing Center, located just 9 miles east of Marfa. It has clean restrooms, telescopes, and even seating for nights out watching for the lights. This center was built in 2001 and has a lot of information about who built the center, the first sighting of the lights, and the wildlife surrounding Marfa. With curious minds, we decided to personally interview a few people we felt would give us the best explanations and tell us about their experiences. Our first interview was with Police Chief Esteban Marquez.
Hi, my name is Jack Crawshaw, and
I'm Elexus Ortega.
Elexus Ortega, and we are sitting here with
Marfa Police Department Chief Esteban Marquez,
who was nice enough to take time out of his day to come and answer some of our questions for our interview. Our first question we have is, how long have you lived in Marfa, and how long have you worked for the police force in Marfa?
I've lived in Marfa for 36 years, and I've been a police officer starting out with the Sheriff's Department as well as Presidio County Constable, and now I've been with the police department for 2 years, but a total of going on 6 years of law enforcement.
Okay, and how many people do they have in the Marfa Police Department? You know?
Right now we have a total of 5, including myself, so it's 5, 1 chief and 4 officers.
Say, how big is Marfa, like the population?
The population is just under, I want to see 2,000.
Okay. The next question I have is, do you find that the Marfa Lights attract a lot of tourism for the town and help maybe generate revenue from some of the shops and the hotels in the town and stuff like that?
Yes. For years now, before the, even when the art was back in the 80s and 90s, the Marfa Lights has been a huge tourist attraction. It's drawn in a lot of people, because of the curiosity of where they're from, what they are, and they just want to look at them.
And is there a certain time of year that you often see more tourists around?
We see a lot for the Marfa Lights. We see them in the summertime.
I've almost, with all the research I've done, I feel like there's kind of like a superstition around the town of Marfa with a combination of the art scene that's here, which is like you don't see too often in Texas, and then also with the Marfa Lights, it kind of brings it together and creates kind of a quirky town that you don't see very often. So do you feel that a lot of the population kind of feels that there's like some sort of superstition or some sort of...
I think not more of a superstition, but more of a, it's kind of, there's a lot of, we get a lot of people here that want to come and figure out what they are and where they come from. And so people here, even the people who are newcomers, it's kind of, we use that as, kind of take that as, we don't really care to find out, it's kind of, it's ours, it's Marfa. And so, we have a whole festival that revolves around it, stuff like that. So it's really part of the whole essence of Marfa.
Do you know what the dates of the festival are, or around what month
it's usually on the week, it's a Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
So it's usually the first weekend in September.
And is that the people that go to the festival? Is that mostly tourists or mostly locals, or is
Usually, well, basically that's mostly it's mostly locals and basically families that've lived here for years. We get all the people that we get reunions. That's like a time of everybody getting together.
Okay.
People that lived here and moved away. That's the time that everybody comes back, as well as tourists that come down for the music.
Do y'all have like scientists or anything that come and like investigate?
Yeah, we've actually had a lot. I mean, they've done a lot of different things. We've back in the late 80s, early 90s. You had Unsolved Mysteries come down here. We've had different things come on. It's been on different TV shows.
Obviously, this town is a very small town in Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's a lot of big names that have been here and done stuff on this town. So
oh yeah, definitely. We get
it's
a lot
definitely
of
a
big
lot
names
different
down here.
than a regular little town. Next question. Have you or anyone you know have ever seen the Marfa Lights?
My grandfather used to test tires for Goodyear. It's back out there behind where the actual viewing center is. Behind there's an actual it was a runway, and so after it was not used for a runway, they used to test tires out there. So my grandfather would always tell us stories about how one day they were testing tires and he was out there and he saw these huge balls of lightning just kept moving closer and closer to them, and that him and a couple of other men that were out there, they basically it got to the point where they were just huge and they were just hopping over each other, and so they ended up just heading up back to town. But he's always telling us stories of these huge balls of lights out there in that area.
Okay, we just have one more question.
Yes,
It's like, what do you believe the Marfa Lights are?
What do I believe the Marfa Lights are? I really don't know. I've gone out there with my family a lot of times when I was younger. Before the actual viewing center was there. So I mean, it's just I really can't say what they are. I mean, it's we've heard everything from aliens to natural gases to spirits. So really, I don't know. I'm intrigued to find out. When we get these people down here, I'm always interested. What are they? They've been there for years, and could they just be some natural phenomenon that happens out here? But as far as I really couldn't tell you, I really have no idea.
Officer Marquez was exactly the right person to speak with over this topic and directed us to important landmarks and sights to see, such as the courthouse. Up 5 flights of stairs, you are able to go to the top of the courthouse and oversee all of Marfa. He also knew numerous locals that have seen the lights. He gave us a tip to go to the Dairy Queen up the street at 3 o'clock to interview numerous people, including Marfa City Mayor Brit Webb.
So we're here in Marfa, Texas with Mr. Brit Webb, and he is going to answer some questions for us that we have for him. Mr. Webb, the first question we have is how long have you lived in Marfa, Texas?
About 75 years.
75 years. And next question that we have is, do you think the Marfa lights attract more tourism to the town and generate a lot of revenue for the town of Marfa? Do you think that's where a lot of the town revenue comes from Marfa, is the tourism from the Marfa lights?
I travel a good bit, and almost everywhere I go, they've heard of the Marfa lights.
Alright.
So yes, I think it's a big help.
So have you, or like, do you know anybody who's seen the Marfa lights?
Oh yeah, I went out there and parked when I was your age, and if we saw the lights, we had a good time. If we didn't, we had a good time.
I'm sure that's the case. And do you think that the lights create like a superstition, or like almost like a superstition over the town of Marfa? Do you think that like a lot of the people around here believe that there's some sort of external?
Some don't.
Yeah.
So also there's been a bunch of like famous people have come down to just like investigate the lights or
like Anthony Bourdain, I know, came and did an episode of Marfa. Do you find that there's a lot of like either scientists or like researchers that want to come down and study the Marfa lights?
We've had people from everywhere. We had a crew from Japan that had helicopters.
Oh wow! So from Japan with helicopters and everything.
They made films of it. I think they left us a copy in Japanese in the
Wow.
so you were
library.
able to meet them and everything?
But the best where I've seen it was on Unsolved Mysteries.
That's what the police said earlier, is about the unsolved mysteries.
They had good people.
And then the last question we have for you.
So what do you believe the Marfa lights are?
What do I believe they are? I'm just glad they're unexplained.
That's a great answer.
After traveling to Marfa, chatting to the locals, and investigating the Marfa lights firsthand, we left with the conclusion that nobody actually knows what the Marfa lights are, and that's what makes this place so special. The lights unite the town and result in a one-of-a-kind place found nowhere else in the world.